everybody, and welcome to Captain Mac Live. Why don't we start today's show off with a quick roll call, and let's see who all is here, because my computer is showing that there's nobody here right now, and gosh, I'd hate to just be doing this all by myself. I might as well be recording a video if I'm going to do that, right? So if you're watching, Roger up, say something on the chat there real quick, and let's kick this show on the road, huh? Or in the air, however you want to say it. Let's see here. Gotta turn caps lock off for that to work. Okay. Oh yeah, we gotta turn the camera on, don't we? There's the camera. There's me. Hi everybody. All right. So today, obviously, we're going to be flying the Quality Wings 757, and this was by overwhelming vote. The first option was an E195 put in there by Triple Crown. How you doing? Was put in there by JetBlue, and he had requested that we do a flight in the E195 from KMSN to KLGA. And then I really kind of felt bad because I was thinking about it. I was like, what do I want to do as the second option? And kind of racked my brain with it for a little while, and I thought, man, I really want to do a flight in that 757. We hadn't done one yet. It'd be a great opportunity for you guys to see it for the first time on a live stream. And then I thought, well, if you're going to do a flight in the 757, then you got to do it into Innsbruck, right? Because Innsbruck has that awesome little approach. So I decided that's what I was going to go ahead and do. And then I felt bad because I thought, man, when I put that option up there, everybody's going to go for it. And sure enough, with the exception of JetBlue and one other, because one of you was kind enough to join him on trying to vote for number one, but it was pretty much an overwhelming vote, and so we're going to be flying the 757 today, which means one of the options for the next live stream will again be KMSN to KLGA in the E195. And JetBlue, I'll try to make it a point to make the second option kind of crappy so that hopefully we'll get an opportunity to do that flight in there. So yeah, that's where we're at today. Now, real quick, I made this little pop-up, and I'm going to pop this up on here again later. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pop it up there, and then let's see if I can make it bigger here. Maybe. Maybe not. Doesn't look like it's going to let me make it any bigger. Here, let's do this. I'm going to drag it up here, and then I'll make it bigger this way. Maybe? Nope, it's not going to let me do it. So that's as big as it's going to get, but there you go. That's just sort of a zoomed in view slightly of the visual approach into yeah, there it is moving across. I see on my screen over here it's now moving across. That's sort of a zoomed in view of the visual approach into runway 8 at Innsbruck. Now that being said, this is different than I've seen it flown before. Normally, at least what I've seen is I've seen them basically skirt these mountains all the way down until you make this turn right here. And, I find it interesting that it's set up this way. So when we get to the point where we're briefing the approach, which will be not too long after we take off because we want to make sure we're set up for it, I'm going to decide if we want to follow this exactly or if we want to do what I would consider a more traditional approach. I don't know if they're just doing it wrong, but I find that hard to believe since it's commercial aviation. But anyway, so once we get ready to actually fly it, I'll pop that back up again. But there you have it. So who do we got on here? Steve's here, VPA 561. Welcome aboard, Steve. Glad to have you here. And Pat. Hey, Pat, how are you? And another one from the UK, Busman69. Fantastic. Looks like we got a total of 8 watching here, so that's good. At least I'm not all alone now. I was starting to feel lonely, guys. Now, you may recall from our last live stream, we were running Active Sky 2016, which is what we're running again today. There's some debate, apparently, whether or not the clouds look better with Active Sky 2016 using ASCA and Rec Soft clouds. I'm going to go ahead and make the argument right now that I like it better without the Rec Soft clouds, and I'm going to tell you why. I actually I recorded the next video for the Life of a Virtual Cargo Pilot this morning, and that was in this same aircraft, so you guys will get 2 shots of that on YouTube here pretty soon, one from the live stream and one from that video. But during the departure, I was going through some clouds, and instead of the whole thing just turning gray like it normally does, you could actually see the clouds moving by. I've never seen that with Rec Soft clouds before, so I'm going to go ahead and say that I like it the way it is. We haven't set up our flight plan yet, so we can't put anything in there. There goes a 777 in the background, by the way. Last thing I want to note, as I was trying to get the cinematic recordings put together for the video this morning, I kept getting out of memory crashes every time, and I only got it when I was trying to do the playback videos for the Quality Wings 757, and I've never had that problem before, so I don't know why it kept popping up. But I'm really hoping we don't get an out of memory crash while we're doing our live stream here. But at the same time, I suppose if we did, I guess it wouldn't be that odd. We've all dealt with out of memory crashes before, and so once again, just adding to the realistic drama that is FSX, right? So, hey J-Slow25. I'm just going to call you Jay, dude. We're going to go with Jay. How are you? Good to have you aboard. Who else we got on here? We started with a roll call. I don't know if you guys all heard that, but we got Triple Crowns on board. We got Steve from the UK, from UK. He's VPA 561. Pat's here. Pat, you're up in Canada, aren't you? And we got Busman 69, also from the UK. Fantastic. Jay, where are you from, brother? I'm glad you agree, because I'm going to stick with it. Oh, good times. Let's see. AS 2016 does the cloud effects, I'm guessing, because I'm using Rex. Are you getting those same effects, Busman, when you fly through? Hey, what's up, Nitsaw? Is that what that says? Nitsaw? All right, I'm calling you Nit. All right, we got another here from the U.S. out in Missouri. Fantastic. All right, well, I think I've probably blathered on long enough before we get started, right? You guys ready to jump in here and start seeing how this Quality Wings 757 gets the job done? I know I am. Now, the checklist that I'm going to be using, this guy, I don't know if you can read it. You probably can. It's actually from the Captain Sim 757. I do not have that aircraft. I just have the checklist for it. And this is one that somebody created. So that's what we're going to go with. Actually, before we hop in here, we need to take care of our flight plan, don't we? Oh, there's my mouse. I've got the screen on this side over here. On my left screen, it has the little window for the broadcaster. So when I move my mouse around over here, I see it over here, and I'm like, why isn't that going all the way up there? All right, let's pull PFPX up over here. I went ahead and cleared everything out so we can do a fresh flight plan here. As you know, we are going to be flying from EDDF to Innsbruck. LOWI, can't think. We're going to do an NCR flight because it's the national livery, which is fantastic. The flight number, as always, is going to be 2336. You'll hear that beeping in the background. That's because the number 2 on the keypad is to adjust the camera for EasyDock. All right, so EDDF to LOWI. It's an international flight. It's not really that far, only a couple hundred miles. Save that one. And there she is right there. So south we shall head. Let's go ahead and plan this out. And it already popped a route in there for us, which is fantastic. That's probably because I was messing around with it earlier. But we can take a quick glance here. It's going to be the Radom 5F departure, and then the Tulsa 3A, Tulsa maybe. I don't know. We'll have to take a look. I did pull those up already off of Navigraph charts so that we'll have those to go. So let's take a look at the aircraft database. And again, if you haven't done a live stream with me before, you haven't seen me do the flight planning, I set up my tail numbers and stuff differently. I put them in there so that I can understand what it is I'm actually getting. Technically, every single Quality Wings 757 I have should have its own tail number in here, and then I would choose which one I'm actually flying, but I'm not doing that. We're going with the Quality Wings 757. That's the tail number on it as far as PFPX is concerned. So there she is. Throw her in. That'll help calculate fuel and all that good stuff. And I discovered on the flight this morning that this apparently already compensates for ballast fuel. So I think we're good to go there. Random payload will do just fine. Find some alternates over there. And again, we can look for those on here if we want. Here's, let's see, EDDM pops up down here. That's right over here. We've got EDMO, which is right here, and EDJA. That one's over here. So these are our alternate airports should we have a problem, which we will not. We're gonna make it. We're gonna get this done, and I'm gonna try not to crash while I do it. let's go ahead and compute the flight. You can see it shows up twice because I was messing with it earlier. But there we go. There she is. Let's. We need to export it. And now when I export this one, I export to FSX and to Quality Wings, because the flight plan will pop right up in the FMC when we go to set it up. So we'll save that. Both saved. Good to go. Now we can release it and drag this over here. And let me copy the flight plan real quick. Pop up a notepad here. You might hear my kids just outside the door there making a bunch of noise. They like to do that because, hey, they're kids. Whoop. I hit the delete button and it changed the view. Okay, so we get a different view now. So here's our flight plan here. We don't need this anymore over on PFPX, so I can close that out. Now, before I close out PFPX real quick, let's go ahead and ask, does anybody have any questions about PFPX that I might be able to answer here? You're just seeing that pop up now. Busman, Mark will work just fine. We'll go with that. Pat says he is up in Canada, so I did remember properly, so that's good. You can't seem to get what to start, Jay. You say you have this, but can't seem to get it to start in C and D. Oh, you're talking about the 757? You can't get it to start in cold and dark? Psh, you're going to learn today, brother, because I'm going to show you how. That's why we're here, man. That's why we're here. That's why we do this. All right, one more time real quick. Anybody have any questions about PFPX before I close it out? I didn't see anything pop up. We 757. Not sure what that means. I think that was supposed to be the 757. Not even close, dude. We and the don't even go close together. All right, I'm closing PFPX at this point. I haven't seen any questions pop up. There we go. We got the flight plans been sitting in front of us right here. 12,693 pounds of fuel. We're going to round that up just a little bit. We're going to make it 13.5, give or take a little. So we need to load the fuel on this aircraft. By going over here, we use our little menu, go to aircraft, fuel and payload, change fuel. We're not going to need anything in the center tanks here. So 13.5, that's what, 7.75, so 7,750 aside should give us 13.5. Nope, my brain's not functioning. Wait, what's half of 13? I meant 6,750. That's what I meant. You guys are supposed to correct me on that. You got to be quicker with that. See, this isn't a video. You can make corrections. There we go, 13.5. Oh, autocorrect. Fantastic. Okay, yeah, Quality Wing 757, my friend, you are going to learn how to do a cold and dark start today. There's our fuel. We're all loaded up, ready to go. Right now, we've got the ground power hooked up, and the way we do that... Bam, okay. So, this little guy right here, this Quality Wings control panel, this is where we do a lot of the real simple stuff. Wheel chocks, opening doors, and attaching the ground power. So I have ground power because I clicked on this guy right here. It's orange when it's not attached, and it's green when it's attached. Now to get that guy, there's no quick button for it, unfortunately. So you got to hit F10 over here, and then you click on this little icon right here, and that'll pop it up. All right, so let's hop back to the proper view here. I have not turned on my track IR yet, so we'll have to do that when we get ready to pull out. Hey, nice to see you too, Shaker. Glad to have you aboard, my friend. How's things going out on the road? You staying safe? I'll have to wait for a reply. Yes, I'm listening while driving once again. As long as you're listening and not watching, right? Because if you're watching, then you might have an accident. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to jump right in here. Actually, no, we're not going to jump right in. We need to put our flight plan in here first. So click on flight plan, the little load button up here. And this is why we saved it in FSX, because you just send it to your FSX directory there. Click open, and it loads it in, and there you go. And if the waypoint appears by default in FSX, then it'll show up in here. Now there's a way to update them, but I don't remember what it is. So yeah, maybe we'll do that one day, but not today. How's that sound? So here's our weather. I do like this quick look. What I don't like is that it doesn't give me my altimeter setting. So I know that my wind, and I'm going to write this down, is 220 at 3 knots, which isn't too fast. 220/3. I'll write that. That's what I'm writing on my notepad over here. And then if I double click it, it gives me an overall view there, and I can zoom this down, or I can just hold it over. That's just telling me user aircraft though. There's the EDDF METAR. So the 24th at 1750 Zulu, wind was 240 at 3 knots. We got it at 220 now. Visibility is unlimited. Few clouds at 2200, broken at 9000. The temperature is 25, dew point's 20, and the altimeter is 1018, which, to be honest with you, I don't know how to convert those. I've never flown in the real world over there, so, but it's given me there's probably a setting on here, and I'll bet you Shaker knows. He'll probably Roger up to it here in a minute. There's probably a way that we can change that so that it gives us the altimeter in standard format, or inches of mercury, rather than oh, what is that called again? I'm trying to think of the name of it. Anyway, other than that, other than the Q format there, it gives us inches of mercury, which would be like 299 and so on. Millibars is what the Q is for, millibars. Anyway, in the meantime, we'll get it figured out here. We'll do it the easy way. I'll show you the easy way to do it. So jump back over to the flight plan just so we have it there. And we'll shrink that down. And I think we're good to go now. Is there anything else we need to do? Hectopascals. Thank you very much, bus man. You said your name was Mark, right? Yeah, Mark. Thank you, Mark. It's hectopascals. Active sky weather. Tune radio to 122.050 and hear the ATIS. I've never tried that before. Well, before we do that, we're going to have to get power on the aircraft anyway. So let's hop up here, and we're going to start with the very simple thing. Now, checklist, right, guys? And this is a pretty long checklist. Now, we've already loaded fuel, weight, and all that stuff is taken care of. We're not opening doors on this. We're just going to pretend that everybody's on board, and that'll be just fine. Excuse me. We want to check that the gear is down. Gear is down. There we go. Fantastic. Fuel control switches all need to be in the cutoff position, which they are. All of these right here. And what else we got here? Okay, so battery can go on and then guard. So you right-click the battery switch here. And who was it again? That's Jay. You don't know how to cold and dark start. Okay, so follow closely through the whole procedure here. Okay, right-click the battery switch. Or the cover that opens the cover, and then left click it, that turns the battery on, and then right click the cover to close it. Okay, standby power right next to it goes to auto. You can just roll your mouse wheel to that, and then APU generator switch goes on. It stays on its own. That being said, external power is available. We're going to go and click on that right now, and now we're on external power. Okay, bus tie switches need to go to auto. That's these two right here. They're already on auto, and you can't do anything with them anyway. Utility bus switches also need to go to auto. That's these two here, and they're already on auto, so we're good to go. Generator control switches. Oh, hold on. I skipped one there. Utility bus switches need to go on, but the off lights can still be illuminated. Okay, there you go. Generator control switches, same thing. They go on, but the off light will most likely stay illuminated, which it does. Panel lights, if required, we don't need any. It's a nice daytime flight, so we're good to go on that. All other lights, the red beacon's already on, so we're good there. So moving on, external power is already on. We're not ready to start the engine yet, so we're not going to start the APU. Well, I guess we'll just go ahead and start the APU. I don't even know why we use external power if we go right into starting the APU. Starting the APU is really simple. See the APU knob here? Just give it a little flick up with the mouse wheel. It goes to the start position, and it got really loud there. There's probably another aircraft. APU's firing up, and once we're sure the APU's running, then we'll go ahead and we'll turn external power off. You pop this guy up here so you can see it. Cancel all of those. Cancel all of those. Turn that off. This doesn't show the APU. I guess it doesn't show the APU. Probably a button I can click somewhere that'll show it. I'm not that worried about it. APU should be up and running here now. Let's see. Hectopascals. There should be enough next to the MCP that will switch between the two formats for your barometric pressure. Okay. I'm assuming he meant there should be a knob, right? Probably a knob. Well, the thing is, wow, that was really choppy. It's because there's another aircraft. Oh, goodness gracious, what is going on? Look how choppy that is. It's ridiculous. It can't be because I'm adjust it, we actually adjust it right here. Let's try pressing it. No, that doesn't do anything. Oh, you know what? It shows both anyway. So if we scroll to 1018 by right-clicking it, there's 18. And I click it a few more times and it still stays at 1018. So we'll just go with the middle one. So you right-click it to go up, left-click it to go down. That sensor pressure there. Good enough? Okay, we know the APU should be up and running by now, so we can go ahead and turn external power off. And then we'll grab this guy here and we'll remove ground power. We don't need it anymore. So now we're on the APU, which is where we want to be. Alright. Position lights need to be on now because we have the APU on, so those are on. And now we do the IRS alignment. The IRS alignment is pretty simple. Go ahead and turn them all off, even if it looks like it's already aligned. Just turn them all off. Okay, then switch them to nav. Just roll the mouse wheel up once. It'll go on DC, and then it'll go to align. You don't have to touch it anymore. All right, you just want to make sure that this knob here is set in present position. Okay, whoops, wrong way. Which it is. Okay. All right, and then they're going to align themselves like that. We don't need to mess with them anymore. Okay. Now we go down to the FMC to make sure our position is initialized, and you can't actually do anything on it here. You got to click it like this, and then click position initialization and make sure your reference airport is in there. And if it is, then that's what aligns it, and you're good to go. We don't need to mess with it. Okay, moving on. Yaw dampers need to come on. They are already on. EEC switches both need to be on, which they are. That's these right here, electric engine controls. Specs. Are you asking for my computer specs, Parker? Didn't I give those to you last time? Hydraulic panel, let's see. Primary engine pumps need to be on. That's these two here. The left and right, I'm sorry, that was left and right. These are the primaries here. These two need to be on, these need to be on, and these need to be on. How's that? Got to do all of them. I'm not going to read them all. Make sure there's no abnormal cautions up top. Other than the packs being off, there really isn't. We can turn the packs on for now. Let the passengers get some air back there, and we should be good to go. Emergency light switch needs to be armed and guarded. That's this one here. You just left click it, and you're good to go. Passenger oxygen switch, that's this one, blank and guarded. And then window heat needs to go on. You can't actually do anything with window heat. It doesn't let you, so it's on and we're good. Ram air turbine switch, blank and guarded. That's this one, and that's good as well. And then the ignition switch on odd days, it's on one. On even days, it's on two. And in cold weather, it's on both. Well, I did a flight earlier, and it was on one. I'm going to switch it to two. Engine start selectors need to be in auto, which they are. And the fuel panel, all fuel pumps off and cross feeds off, which they are. Cross feeds should be blank. All right. I don't know why the center pumps are still on. Now they're off. Okay, fuel quantity and balance, we've already checked that. Engine and wing anti-ice, we don't need that right now. It's not that cold. And that's going to take us to passenger signs. We'll flip those on real quick. These are all just your power-up stuff, Jay. Kithindara? I gotta come up with a nickname for you. We're gonna call you Kit. Can I call you Kit? That's what I'm gonna go with. Don't worry about being late. We're glad to have you aboard. Let's see here. Cabin altitude control. We don't need to mess with that. You can't do anything with it anyway. Temperature control. Trim air needs to be on. You can't do anything with trim air or recirc fans. They stay on, so we'll leave them as is. Both packs are on auto. And the isolation valve switch needs to be on, which is this guy here. And I'm going to tell you, Jay, this right here is probably the #1 reason you're having trouble starting the aircraft from cold and dark. Once you get to this point, if you do not turn on the isolation switch, you will not be able to start engine number 2. All right. Engine bleed switches need to be on. That's these two right here, left and right. Make sure those are on as well. And then APU bleed needs to be on. Also, and we'll get to it here in a little bit, but Jay, we'll need to make sure we turn the packs off before we try to start engines. You can't start engines with the packs on. Alright, so let's go ahead and take care of our FMC, setting up our flight plan now. Again, you can't type anything on this down here, you got to pop it up. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to pop it up in the middle here, and we're going to go over to route. Now, we've already done our route through PFPX. So what we're going to do is just type it in the way it was saved. EDDF to LOWI, and the designator was 01. When we click here, give it a second. On database, what are you talking about? EDDF LOWI 01. I How's that not in your database? Are you kidding me? That was what it was when we loaded this one, right? EDDF LOWI 01. And we saved it to both of them, didn't we? Ugh. Come on. I really hate FSX sometimes. EDDF LOW. Did I put something in wrong? LOWI 01. Work. Oh, I hate you. I hate you. Okay, we're going to do it the hard way. Now you're going to learn how to do this. There's only two E's in there. EDDF is the origin. Destination is LOWI. Better not be saying LOWI is not in the database. That would be ridiculous. Okay. I thought I was going to say that wasn't in the database. Okay. We can either go to the legs page or we can go to page 2 on the route page. And now we're going to need our flight plan, because now we have to put everything in by hand. So, I've got the flight plan up over here. There it is. This is the star, or the SID, I'm sorry, and this is the star. So we won't put those in, but we're going to put in everything in between, starting with, couldn't see it there for a second, starting with RATIM, R-A-T-I-M. So you type RATIM, click it there. We're not going to activate it yet because we got a ways to go. Next is harem, H-A-R-E-M. I don't know why that wasn't in the database, but whatever. Harem. And then it looks like we're taking, I think that's an airway, T104 to DKB. So let's go, let's see if we can do it this way. T104 should be the airway. And that is going to DKB. You guys see how I'm doing that, right? Anybody confused about what I just did there? I'll look in a second and see if you're confused. And then from there it's Z818. So what I'm doing, Z818 is the airway. So that's by putting it in the VIA, what you'll see here, put VIA, and then DKB via Z818 to LVAG. LVAG? Really? E-L-V-A-G. E-L-V-A-G. So, if there are a bunch of waypoints on airway Z818 between DKB and LVAG, they'll all be in the legs page. They'll all be in the legs section, so you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. Most people call me Kith. Okay, Kith it is then. We're going to go with Kith. Okay, so from LVAG, it's going to be airway Yankee 161 or Y161. So we put that in the VIA section here. And then it asks us where we're going along that airway, which is actually we're going to go all the way to MAH. It's got a step climb in there, but we're just going to go all the way to MAH. So MAH. And what that'll do, now by doing that, if you look here, Yankee 161 to LELTA, LELTA, and then this is a step climb, but then we're still on Yankee 161 to MAH. So by just putting it to MAH, it's going to include LELTA in there as well. Oh, I get the hiccups all of a sudden. Next is Yankee 162. I'll bet the guys from the UK are like, yeah, that's right, Yank. Yankee 162 to, what is that? Manal? M-A-N-A-L. Manal. M-A-N-A-L. Here we go. And then it is UM736, Uniform Mike 736, and that takes us to Tulsi, T-U-L-S-I. And then from there we'll be on the star. Okay, so we're going to activate that. We're not going to do performance initialization yet. I want to show you something real quick. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 waypoints in there, right? If we go to the legs page, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, so we went from MAH, we went to, it ended up being direct to Manal, and then from Mainel to Tusi. But you can see there's more waypoints in there than what we actually put in the route page, and that's what I was doing with the airways like that. So hopefully everybody's able to understand that. You should be able to just put the next airway in. You know, I've never tried that. Maybe we'll do that next time. So what Nit is saying, Nitsawa. Sorry, I'm bad with names, guys. These screen names can be hard. Anyway, what Nitsaw87 is saying is you should be able, when you're on the routes page here, when I put this airway in, I should be able to just put the next one here, and it should automatically populate that waypoint there. That's what I'm assuming you're saying, right, Nitsaw? I'm gonna have to come up with a nickname for you too. Okay, so now we go performance initialization. Our reserves are going to be 5.0, which is 5,000. Our cruise altitude, we're going to go up to flight level 350, and our cost index, we're going to go 75. That's our cost index. Execute those, and we'll go to the takeoff page, and it's giving us our V speeds on the takeoff page as well as our flap setting, and I don't think we can change that. Let me just try real quick. I've never tried actually. Oh yeah, you can. Look at that. And then it automatically updates these, but we'll do a flaps 15 takeoff. That'll be fine. Acceleration height, we're going to make that 1500. See if we can change that one as well. Hey, we can. Fantastic. I've never tried to change those before. Now, we're not done yet. When we're done, it'll say right here that we've completed it. My nose itches, sorry. It'll say that we've completed it. What we need to do is our departure and arrival. Now, we're not going to do the arrival quite yet, but we're definitely going to do the departure. Now, in order to plan the departure, we know that we're going to be taking the Radom 5. So we know that's going to be way over here somewhere. There we go. That's ours. Radom 5F. Okay. But before we do that, let's go back to the first page here. There's 17 pages of those from EDDF, by the way. Let's go ahead and start looking at some charts here. All right. First of all, our parking chart. Okay. And our wind is 220 at 3. So we're going to take runway 25. And we are actually parked right here at B48. So we're going to go ahead and take 25 center instead of taking, you know, 25 right or trying to cross over and take 25 left. So 25 center is our departure runway today. Okay. That being said, it's a simple taxi. Actually, we can see the whole taxi from here. That's just the terminal chart there. Okay. This is where we're at. We're going to come over to N3. It's easier to see here. Over to N3 onto Lima. And then we're going to take Lima up here to Lima 3, and we'll hold short right there. So that's the planned taxi route. Okay. As far as the departure goes, we will be briefing that in a little bit. So let me get this out of the way here. Hop back on here. So we know we're taking runway 25 center, right? So let's go on here and we'll select the runway first, and then we'll select our SID. All right. So we're the RATIM, R-A-T-I-M 5F SID, which is this one right here. And there's no transition from there. So we're going to go ahead and execute that. And now we need to, if we go route and then just roll through these, when we get here, you can see it says it's complete now. So we're good there, but we still need to go over to the legs page and make sure that there's nothing that's, there's no conflicts there or anything like that. So these are all part of the departure procedure. Okay. And in order to make sure that we got everything the way we want it, what we need to do here is let's hop up here so we can see what's going on. Pop this guy up. Move that there. Come on. I don't know why these are so small when they first pop up. Pop this guy up. No, pop this guy up. Move that there where you can see it. And then this right here is the IFAS control panel, which I have over here because it's easier to deal with. All right. So we're going to zoom that out just a little bit, and then we're going to go to our plan view here and see what that does. That lets us step through these just by clicking on this button right here. Okay. So actually, let's zoom it back down. So it's an immediate left turn on departure, basically. We're going to step right around each of these waypoints. Now we'll zoom it out so we can see where we're at. So you can see it goes from that last waypoint there, and then it's way out here to Amtix, but there's no discontinuity. Now, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to go from Amtix to Oconee to Radom and then to Haram. This is all the end of the departure, right? So I say we go from Amtix straight to Haram. harem or harem, whatever you want to call it. What do you guys think? You want to go straight from Amtix to harem, or we want to make that little tick mark turn there? Hi, Chris. What are we saying holy caca for? Are you overwhelmed by the amount of stuff we have to do? Alright, straight in. So, here's how we do that. It's very, very simple. We want to go from Amtix straight to harem. So click on harem. That puts it down here in the scratch pad. And we want to get rid of these two. So we're just going to click on a coney because we want it to come right after Amtix. Click there. You can see it creates a blue line now. Okay. And then we click execute. And just like that, we now go from Amtix. Well, it's got to go all the way around those first. From Amtix straight to harem. Much quicker, much easier, makes a lot more sense. Alright, we can step through the rest of these. We can see they're all good to go. Did that just bounce backwards for some reason? LVAG? Where's LVAG? There it is. That was kind of weird, wasn't it? Let's start here. Nope, now it wants to jump out here. Okay, there's PIGAB, DKB. I don't know why it does that little twitch thing there, but LVAG, Rick said, and on down in. And we don't have our arrival in there yet. I don't know what that little twitch is all about. But Tulsi, and then you can see from there it goes straight to LOWI. But when we get ready to brief the arrival, we'll see how that's going to be set up. And we may have to come in and do something similar to what we just did so that we can get in there nice and clean. So we're good with that. Let's shrink those both back down. And let's put this back on the map view. Zoom this back down for our departure. And move this bad boy over here. And yeah, so that's it. We're all set up on our FMC now. Any questions about setting up the FMC? I can actually ask that on here. So, let's see. Direct, straight. Oh, you want me to tune the radio to hear the ATIS? Okay. 122.050 on the radio. Compact is down here, so 122. 122 what? 050. Okay, switch.
Abbreviated briefing from your current position to Echo Delta Foxtrot 2 Lima Oscar Whiskey India. No SIGMETs active for your route of flight. No AirMETs active for your route of flight. Current weather conditions. Echo Delta Foxtrot. Wind 196 at 3. Visibility 10. Sky condition. Few clouds at 3,000. Few clouds at 3,500. Ceiling 14,000. Broken. Temperature 24. Dew point 20. QNH 1017 for the en route area. Thunderstorms in the vicinity of Tango Uniform Lima Sierra India for the destination at your estimated arrival time. Wind 265 at 18. Gusting to 28. Caution. Wind shear alert 2 miles southeast of Lima Oscar Whiskey India. Visibility 10. Sky condition. Ceiling 5,000. Broken. Moderate rain. Thunderstorms in the vicinity. Temperature 20. Dew point 17. QNH 1019. Winds aloft for the en route area at 24,000 feet. Wind 286 at 11 at 18,000 feet. Wind 273 at 9 for the destination at 24,000 feet. Wind 222 at 6 at 18,000 feet. Wind 204.
Wow. Did you guys hear that? When we get to Innsbruck, the weather's going to be pretty nasty. Wind shear alerts, gusting winds. We're going to crash. We're probably going to crash. Yeah, Chris, this is what I look like. I know you probably wouldn't expect it. I think everybody was surprised the first time they saw me on here. Yeah, it's hard to imagine I'm such a good-looking dude, isn't it? I know. Let's see. So yeah, 122.050 for the ATIS. That was pretty cool, actually. I did not know about that, so thank you for the information there. Let's see. Shaker, I did try out that new ATC, and it sucks. Plain and simple, it sucks. I didn't like it. I had a hard time figuring it out to begin with anyway. Most of the keys didn't work properly. I had to remap everything. I couldn't get it to even work right. So, yeah, not a fan of that ATC. So, there you have it. Okay. Any questions about all of the FMC and stuff like that? I think I already asked that. So, let's go ahead and jump on ahead here. Let's see. We've already checked out our routes. We've already got our clearance. Let's see. Squawk code. We need to set the squawk code. This thing's actually really annoying because you can't use the knobs. You have to do it right here, but you can only scroll one direction, right? When I scroll up, it does that one for some reason. I have no idea why. But if you scroll down, you can do each one individually. So 2336 is going to be our code. Oops, went too far. 336. That's our squawk code there. That's what we're going to go with, unless we actually find a decent ATC. Flight directors need to be on. It says off, then on. I don't know why. Auto throttle needs to be off, which it is. We need to set our V2 into the indicated airspeed, which is, let's take a look here real quick. Go to the takeoff page. 140 is our V2, so we want to set 140. If I right click here, it goes up in increments of 10, which is much faster. And if I left click here, it goes down in increments of 10. And then right click on the left side is increments of 10, right click on the right side, increments of 10. And then if you left click, it goes one at a time, or you can use the scroll wheel to go one at a time. Let's see, it says to set the runway heading, which is 248 degrees, I believe. So let's go ahead and set that. Same thing, right click goes at 10 degrees at a time, and then you can scroll the mouse wheel or left click to go 1 degree at a time. Altitude, set first altitude. We haven't briefed the departure yet, so I guess let's go ahead and talk about the departure now, huh? This guy right here. So, RADM 5F is our departure here, and we're going down this way, so let's take a look here. Let's pop up the flight plan. So, we're going straight to RADM, which is right here, and then from RADM, we're going direct to Harem. So, where's Harem at? Yep, there it is right there. So, oh, that's why it did that little tick mark thing there, isn't it? Okay, so we got rid of RADM and we went from AMTIX straight out to Harem. So that's what we're going to do when we fly out here. AMTIX, Oconee. I think we got rid of Oconee too. So AMTIX straight to Harem, and then from Harem it is just looking at the flight plan here. Tango 104 to DKB. DKB's out here. So I'm going to guess that this is probably Tango 104. So out here to DKB and then on course from there. Key things we need to concern ourselves with as far as the departure briefing goes, or as far as the departure goes. We've already got these waypoints programmed in. We need to remember that it's an immediate left turn on departure. So we're going to have to watch for that. But I don't see any altitude restrictions in here. All right, so these are minimum safe altitudes on the airway, but there's no actual altitude restrictions that says you must be at or above or at or below this particular altitude. So we can go straight up to our cruise altitude, flight level 350. And even though there were step climbs built into the flight plan, we don't have that much fuel. This airplane's not going to have any problem getting up there, I guarantee it. Little box down here gives us some additional information about this area right here. That's what this little these little tick marks are around here. So this just outlines those first few waypoints for us coming out to AMTIX, and it's not to scale, so that's something to keep in mind. And we're going to be on the center runway here, so obviously ATC would be wanting to make sure that there's not an aircraft taking off parallel to us, because when we come out here and make this left turn to DF 141, we don't want to run into anybody. We'll take a glance ourselves, but I have the AI traffic turned way down anyway, so I don't think we need to worry about hitting anybody there. And then we'll just follow the waypoints around on out to AMTIX, and then off we go straight on up to flight level 350. Any questions about the departure briefing? Since I can actually ask that on here. Let me shrink this back down over here and wait to see if any questions pop up. What do we got going on here? Where's LOWI? Wow. So Chris, you're not really all that familiar with flight sim, are you? It's Innsbruck in Austria. Is it Austria? Yeah, I think it's Austria. It's Innsbruck, which is actually a pretty famous airport, especially in not only the real flying world, but in the flight sim world, because of the extremely difficult approach, which you're going to get an opportunity to see today. Oh, you had to get off. Bummer. I didn't see that until just now. Well, if you're still on here, I thank you for joining me, as always. And if not, well, a shout out to you, my friend. And I hope you enjoy the video when I get it on YouTube. So, clearly there's no questions about the departure briefing. So, that's going to take us, let's see, where are we at here? We get the heading set up. All that set up. Auto brake is off. That's this guy right here. ICAS says check for failure messages. Well, we know we got a bunch of them on there. So let's see. Hydroelectric 2. Why is that? Is that just because the APU? Oh yeah, that's because we're on APU right now. That's fine. Okay, what else? Good there. Flap indicator, check that it's at 0. It is. Flaps are all the way up. Flap override switch normal and blank. I'll zip over here so that you can actually see that. Here's the flap override switch. You can't actually do anything with it, so it's going to stay normal and blank. Landing gear down and 3 green, which they are. We're good on that. Alternate gear switch is guarded and off, and that's this little guy right under here. And again, you can't do anything with it, so we're good to go on that. Parking brake, we want to make sure it's set, which it is. And you can hold the mouse over it, gives you the little tip there, tells you that it's on. Spoilers down, which they are. Throttles closed, they are. Fuel control switches are in cutoff, they are. That's the down position there. Trim settings set as indicated. It does not actually give us the trim on here, so maybe it does somewhere, but let's see, anywhere? No, it would be in the takeoff section, and it's not. So it doesn't give us the trim settings, so we're just going to have to muscle it around a little bit until we get the trim set once we depart. Flaps. Now it says to set them as indicated. Well, I'm not doing that until after I push back, so... And there we go. Oh no, it says up and 0 again. We already checked flaps, so I don't understand that. Okay, so now we're getting ready to do our engine start and pushback. And Jay, this is going to be the part where you're going to want to pay close attention. Everything we've done up to this point, you know, obviously some of this stuff you think, well, it has nothing to do with startup. Okay, maybe not entirely. But by following the full procedure, you get to this point right here, and the engine start is ridiculously easy. And you're going to see that here in a second. So we want to make sure the gangway's up. We never open the doors. Even ICAS messages, we just clear those out so that we don't have to look at them. And fuel pumps, we need to turn all the fuel pumps on. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Fuel pumps are on. We don't need the center ones because we have no fuel in the center. Red anti-collision lights are already on, so we're good there. Packs need to go off. Packs off. Stabilizer trim is set. Doors are closed, and so we're ready for pushback. And then we'll do the engine start as we push back. So let's go ahead and get GSX out here and prepare for pushback and departure. Maybe. Oh, yeah, it got really choppy. So let's see, we need the nose to go right and the tail to go left. No, I don't want to start before pushback. Hopefully the choppiness goes away. I think part of the choppiness is just due to this airport because it's so busy. Give him a second to do his thing here. Chris, I'm really surprised you didn't know where...
Hello, Captain.
Is it you that asked where this was? Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't know where LOWI was. There we go. Gotta drink my monster so that I can stay awake. I got like this blurriness in my right eye. It's been there since I got up this morning. It's been driving me nuts. GSX is a little slow. It can be a little annoying at times, but it is what it is. Any day. I still think it's funny that you thought I'd look like a soccer dad, which is even funnier because I have a lot of kids, so. While we're waiting here, because they're taking forever, question for you guys. Please feel free to answer. Jay, look, are you asking about EDDF? Yes, this is default EDDF. DCS World. I think I've mentioned it before, but I'd like to know. I've started getting into that, and I got to tell you guys, man, the complexity in comparison to this is just, it's a whole different world, and it's a lot of fun. I'm having a great time with that. Why on earth are we not pushing back yet? What is taking so long? Maybe he's ready for me to release brakes or something. Oh, I know what it is. I guarantee it. We still got the wheel chocks on. Watch. Usually there's a pop-up, but I turn those off. Like, wheel chocks off. Brakes are on. We'll give him another minute here. Anyway, DCS World. So I joined up with a fighter squadron that flies online together, and it's a lot of fun, man. We've been flying.
Launching gear.
Yep, that's what it was. Had to take the wheel chocks off, or your GSX won't they won't do anything. They'll just sit there. So anyway, we were doing a bunch of traps on an aircraft carrier, and it is just fun. And I picked up the Nevada map in DCS World 2.0, and I picked up the
Departure
Huey,
check
which is
completed.
crazy hard to fly.
Flight has been inserted. Release parking brakes.
All right, let's release the parking brakes. I'll answer your question in a minute, Jay. Okay, Jay,
Commencing push. All engines
you ready for
clear.
this? Here we
Start
go,
that wheel.
okay? Pay close attention now. Startup is actually ridiculously easy. We're pushing back now, okay? We're gonna move the right start, just like we always start engine 2 first on this aircraft, okay? Make sure the packs are off. We did that with the checklist. Make sure APU bleed air is on and isolation valve is on, and then you're gonna rotate this to ground. There we go. Hop up here, and I'll pull this up for you. And I'll let it go a little long, but when your N2 gets to 18% or higher, you're going to introduce fuel. There's 18, so we'll shrink that down. Click on this, left click, and bam, the engine fires right up. You don't have to respond, letting the ground guy know brakes are released and you're ready for pushback. I don't have to actually respond to him. Sergeant Cruel. Sergeant Cruel. No, I don't have to actually respond to him. And what I did is I went into GSX settings and I turned the little stupid thing on here that keeps beeping at you. But the downside is if I'm talking to you guys and I don't hear them say something, I might end up sitting here like a fool for a little while. So, Captain Walton, my friend, how are you, sir? Glad to have you aboard. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the presence of greatness now. Captain Walton 2014 down there, he is the president of National Virtual Cargo. I hope you don't mind that I just threw you on the stage there, my friend. But yeah, we're actually flying national livery today, so I'm really thrilled to have you aboard here. If y'all would do me a favor and give a big, hearty, warm welcome to my good friend, Captain Walton. And while you guys are doing that, we finished our pushback. We'll let them finish doing their thing. Jay, so to start engine number 1, it's the exact same procedure. You come up here, you roll this to ground. You can left click it to ground as well. And then you just watch your N2, and as soon as your N2 hits 18% or above, you can add fuel. Now, technically, in the real world, if you add fuel before it hits 18%, you can create a hot start, which can destroy the engine. On this particular aircraft, I don't think that's modeled, so I don't think you have to worry about it. And that's it. There's your engine start procedure. Well, I'm certainly glad to have you back, my friend. It is great to see you here, and I'm glad you were able to join us because we're going to have fun today. We're flying, as you can see on the screen there, into LOWI. Now, I'm not flying this one on A-cars, Captain Walton, but I am flying the national livery. We're proudly displaying the national colors here. There she is, up and running. Beautiful airplane. I just finished excuse me. Awesome. Captain Walton, I just finished a video this morning, actually. You probably already saw the pirate for national. And at the end of that video, which I haven't edited it yet, but at the end of that video is a request for a paint job on a Quality Wing 757 winglets, because I know National's got some, so I'd really like to see that if you get an opportunity. So I'll just throw you under the bus on that one here. Gone to, I don't know what cell hell it is. I'll have to catch the rest of this on YouTube later. Shaker, my friend, drive safe. I'm glad you were able to make it for a little while. And take care of yourself, brother, and I'll talk to you later. Long ears. What are you talking? Who's got long ears? We'll have it out next week, if not sooner. Fantastic. That sounds great. Okay, Jay, did you see everything on the startup procedure? While I'm waiting for you to answer that, I'm going to go through the after start checklist here so we can get that taken care of. Okay. So now that that's done, we need to make sure that the generator lights are off. Which they all are. That's hydraulics, not generator. What am I looking for here? My brain is moving. There we go. Generator lights down here. They are as they should be. Those little off lights should be off, is what I should say. APU bleed needs to go off now. That's this one over here. APU can go off. Just give it a little click. It always goes to the start first and then it shuts down. Engine anti-ice, we're not going to need that right now. Isolation switch can come off at this point. Packs can go to auto. That's going to give some air to the folks in the back if we have anybody back there. Auto brake selector goes to RTO. Just left click that. It doesn't work if you roll the mouse wheel. So ICAS, let's hit cancel and then recall, and the only thing that should pop up is parking brake. So we're good to go. We don't have any warnings on there. Logo light needs to go on. That's this one over here. All the these two don't come on until right before we take off. This guy's gonna taxi right into his watch. He's just like, yeah, I got tired of waiting, so oh no, he didn't taxi. He's gonna go. That's the old tour flag over there, isn't it? Or maybe it's anyway. Nose wheel, landing light, and runway turn-off lights. Nose wheel lights come on, landing lights not yet. Pushback is complete, which is going to take us right into our taxi checklist. And taxi clearance we don't need to worry about because we're not using ATC. We've already noted the taxiways, but just for poops and grins, let's go ahead and take one more look here. So we are basically sitting right here pointed this way. So we're going to come straight out here. We're going to grab this first taxiway across where that TuaFly 737 just came from. So that'll be November instead of November 3 like we originally briefed. I think we'll take November here over to Lima, but we'll see if there's other aircraft around or if it's easier just to go this way. Either way, we'll cross over on either November 4 or November 3 up to Lima, all the way up to Lima 3 and hang a right. So you guys might have to remind me Lima 3 so that I don't lose track of where I'm going, okay? Put that back over there, and before we do that, I'm going to have to turn track IR on, so hold on a second. Boy, the Lufthansa ain't playing around, are they? Alright, let's get track IR on here. This guy. Boom. There we go. And then I like to go ahead and recenter it by leaning back just a little bit further, shrink down just a bit, recenter it, and then when I sit normal, that would be a more appropriate view in this aircraft. So I think we're good to go there. So turn that off for just a sec, see if we got anything else on here, since we got Lufthansa going all nuts out here anyway. Long ears, as in goodbye ears, because of the loud noise outside the aircraft. Oh, okay. Oh, so long ears. Gotcha. Now I'm tracking. I think you're supposed to put a hyphen when you say something like that. I could be wrong. Are they still drowning me out? Are the engines still drowning me out, guys? Oh, wait a second. I'm well into this game. Do you mean this particular stream, or do you mean like I've been doing this for a while? Captain Walton, I'm going to assume that means that the engines are no longer drowning me out. I'm going to bring the volume down just a notch. And you know what? Let's check the microphone volume. You guys all know I've dealt with this many times. Recording devices, there it is. Levels, and look at that. It's all the way down at 15. Let's bring it up now. It's been pretty loud the last few times. How's that right there? Can everybody hear me all right? It's not too loud? It's not as bad inside the aircraft. That's good. Especially outside. Yeah, it was pretty loud out there. But I did just turn the microphone up, so hopefully it's not too loud. I've noticed that actually when I take the video from this to put it on YouTube, you know, I put my little intro before it and after it, and I have to bring the volume down because it's really loud. But I forgot to check the microphone beforehand. But up until I hopped outside, did anybody have any problems hearing what I was saying, or were we good to go? I'll give you guys a second to come up with that answer. The delay makes it kind of weird when you ask questions. Hey, we're up to 20 people on here right now. Fantastic. More the better. Okay, well, nobody's saying anything. Busman saying it's okay, so we're good to go. Let's rock and roll. Let's go ahead and turn the track IR on, and then we can turn the parking brake off. There she goes, and then as light as we are, she's just going to start rolling on her own. And in fact, we're going to end up needing to use brakes because I'm not adding any throttle right now. And away we go. So we briefed the departure already. I think everybody pretty much understands what the deal is on that. And I don't think there's anything else really to cover right now. We've got everything set up. We've got our engine started. We've done all our checklists. The only thing we have left to do is the hold point checklist and then the takeoff checklist. And then once we've done both of those, obviously we'll be airborne, and then we'll do the moment with Mac. That's what we'll call it now, the moment with Mac, and we can just chat for a little bit until we have to start getting ready for the arrival. It is a short flight. It's 200 something miles, not very long, but we're going to be able to get to cruise altitude pretty fast, I think. So yeah, should be good to go. So I found Chris's comment actually hilarious, thinking that I would look more like a soccer dad. See, that says F. See, that's kind of weird. That says we're on Foxtrot and that this is Alpha. But I'm sure this is the taxiway we need here, because the sign that I just saw over there, which you guys will see in a second, that sign right there says 25 right and 7 left. What the heck? Wow. Okay, here's what I'm going to do real quick. Let's go to an overhead view, because that doesn't make sense. So top-down view. Yeah, that's 25 right, but 25 right technically is on the other side of the airport. Oh, they just put them together like that. Look at that. Oh, they didn't put all the runways in here for the default. You guys see that? So this should be 25 center, and 25 right is actually over here. So I guess we're gonna be taking, even though we put 25 center, we're gonna be taking 25 right here with these guys. So yeah, that's kind of obnoxious, but we can't go that way obviously, so we're gonna have to hang a left here. Let me turn this back on. Let's get a little forward momentum going here, and then we'll start our turn. There we go. So I guess it's gonna actually be 25 right. Now I could change it in the FMC, but honestly, well, I probably should. No, I can't actually, and I'll tell you why. Because 25 right, according to the nav data, is where I showed you when we were looking at the overhead view, right? So if I put 25 right in the FMC, it's going to expect that I'm way over there on the other side of the terminals, and that's going to mess things up more. So 25 center is listed as 25 right on this default airport where Lufthansa is pulling out right now. So technically, what is showing up as 25 right here is 25 center. So it's actually the proper runway, and so I'm hoping, and you can see if you look right here, I'll pop this up so you can see it. So you can see that just barely right of our position is 25 center on the nav display here. So that's where it's expecting us to go, is right over here anyway. So that's what we're going to go with. All right. And no throttle on this thing, and it's just continuing to increase speed. So, and I'm actually looking over here at comments. I need to move this thing is what I need to do. Let me put this over here, and I know we're bouncing all over the place.
Flight attendants, please
There we go.
be seated for departure.
Look at boy, we're up to 14 knots, just cruising right along, aren't we? Okay, now I can look without turning quite so far. You're landing at Dubai right now? Oh, fantastic! From EJKK. That's quite a flight there, isn't it? Moment with Mac. Is that a KC-135R pun? I don't know, is it? Why would that be a KC-135R pun? You're going to have to explain that one to me, Sergeant Cruel. Where am I going? It says it actually right up top there. If you look right here, departure and arrival. You know where LOWI is? Oh boy, we're cruising along now, 20 knots, huh? That looks like a lot faster than 20 knots to me, to be honest with you. Okay, we're going to have to take this next taxiway here. As you can see, there's the runway right there. I was too busy talking, I wasn't paying attention. There's British Airways Airbus coming in. He's going to slam down to the ground. Not that I haven't done that once or twice. I don't see anybody else on approach, but we still got to do our hold short, or our hold point checklist, so we might end up waiting on somebody else, we'll see. Alright, now we've got a reasonable ground speed here. Let's go ahead and swing it back around here. Maybe. There we go. Now we'll swing it back Look at that. Nice tight turn, huh? I got skills in the air and skills on the ground, boys. You know, I thought we set our altitude. Didn't we set our altitude already? Maybe we didn't. Maybe I talked about it and then forgot to do it. Okay, I'll just use control period to put the parking brake on real quick. Turn the track IR off. And let's go ahead and set that altitude. Good thing I looked at that. So we're going up 35,000 or flight level 350 for those of you in the know. Now 3635. What do we got over here? Anything else from EJKK? Crash it? What do you mean crash it? What do you want me to crash? The airplane? I'm not going to crash the airplane. Well, I might crash the airplane, but it won't be on purpose. You're currently boarding for a flight for national from Miami to SBGL. 9 hours, 15 minutes. That's going to be a long one. I use Sky AI, Busman. That's the traffic program that I use. Okay, let's go ahead and roll into the hold point checklist. So we would hand off from the ground to tower. We're not doing that. We've got our clearance. So we're going to assume we've got takeoff clearance now. Let's go ahead and turn the landing lights on. The white anti-collision and the wing lights come on. The transponder is actually already on, and then to turn on the TCAS, you got to use the IFAS control panel and just click the traffic button. Maybe. Oh, it's not coming up for some reason. Is it the mode I'm in? Maybe it's the mode I'm in. Let me go to. No. It's not doing anything. Normally it pops up right there, but for some reason I must have missed something. 2336. Can't turn this or anything. That's kind of weird. Doesn't want to bring up the TCAS all of a sudden. Well, I guess we're flying without it because I'm not going to sit here and mess with it all day. Anyway, so we'll assume TCAS is on for now. And then we go position and hold, and hopefully nobody will try to land on us. So let's position and hold, and then once we're lined up, we'll do the takeoff checklist, and then away we go because that's what we're here for. Again, I'm not using any thrust right now, so think of it like this: if the idle thrust on this aircraft is enough to move it on the ground, imagine how fast this thing is going to climb once we get going. This thing is going to rocket through the air. I don't see anybody coming, so let's hope nobody lands on our heads here. Because you know how the AI traffic is. They'll just cruise right in and they don't care. They couldn't care less. Move that back down there where it belongs. Oh, that was a little glitch there, a little jitter, huh? Why is there two hold short lines? I wonder why they do that. And then we could have come in over there, but that's fine. Alrighty. We should have plenty of runway to work with. But we'll go ahead and try and line it up near the end here anyway. So, Captain Walton, what are you flying there for 9 hours and 15 minutes, you crazy man? We'll have to do a live stream that's really long like that one day. Do a really long flight on a live stream. Nobody said anything about DCS World when I brought it up. Do you guys just like totally not like DCS World? You're like, just, I don't want anything to do with that. Don't even talk about it? Or you guys just have no comments? I don't think I went too far. I think we're just about right. Yeesh. That sucker will turn, man. Getting lined up close to center here. And yeah, we're a little crooked. Man, that sucker turns sharp, doesn't it? Alright, turn that off for a second. Parking brake on, and let's take care of the ready for takeoff checklist. Activate the parking brake, turn the auto throttle on. Autopilot settings, we want to check, make sure flight director is on, which it is. VNAV and LNAV can be armed at this point. Now they are, so we're good on that. Then let's see, thrust levers, we'll move those forward, release the parking brake, and then until you reach 80 knots, you're supposed to actually press the yoke forward. So that's what we're going to be doing. And, oh, you know, we never set the flaps either. That's awesome. I'm on a roll. This is why I always you scan everything before you take off, because taking off without the flaps would be a pain in the butt. So, wait for those flaps to finish coming in. Now, I know it said to set the flaps before the pushback, but that didn't really make sense to me because you don't have full hydraulic power until you fire up engine number 2. So maybe I just need to move that on the checklist or something like that. Of course, the 747, the heartbeat of National. Yeah, we would have to do it together. We'll have to do a joint flight on here, do a joint live stream flight. That'd be a good time, right? And I know some of the other guys on here, they really want to get in too. So that'd be a good time. Moment, weight, and Mac is a CG thing. I don't know about Mac as a CG. I know what moment is. You've got the moment of inertia, and then you've got the what do they call it when you calculate your center of gravity? You've got the length times or the weight times the arm. At least that's how we do it in civilian aviation. Now I'm assuming, Sergeant Cruel, that maybe you were a crew chief on a KC-135 or something. You tell us. But in the meantime, what we're going to do here now, I've got a toga button mapped to my boy, that thing's kind of flinging all over the place now, isn't it? Alright, I've got a toga button mapped to my yoke here. So we're going to bring the throttles up to about 1.5 on the yeah, I know. And then we release the parking brake and toga. Listen to the engines on this thing. This is one thing Quality Wings really got right. The sound is beautiful. Turn that up a little. That deep throaty roar. I love it. Try and stay in the center here at least.
80 knots.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to be pushing forward on the yoke until we reached 80 knots, wasn't I? Oops. Too late.
V1. Rotate.
Rotate.
V2. Positive rate. Gear up.
Gear coming up. Keep it right there on the flight director for the moment. We definitely had plenty of trim. Looking good. We can go ahead and actually we can keep the flaps where they're at for the moment. Boy, that's quite a climb, isn't it? Okay, flight director's off to the left there. I got to pay attention to what I'm doing. Okay, and all you do is center it up, and it'll take you right around the corner. We can go up to 210 knots with this flap setting, so you're just trying to keep those crosshairs centered as you fly around the corner here. Just like that. Looking pretty good so far. Obviously, I'm concentrating on my hand flying here. And we're just going to keep following that flight director for a minute. Looking pretty good. Looks like it's got us pretty much right on course there, so that's good. Alright, let's go ahead and turn the track IR off. Bounces back. Let's turn the autopilot on, hit command once. And then all of a sudden the flight director changed there, didn't it? Maybe I missed that while I was messing with it. I was starting to lose some speed there all of a sudden too. I should have been paying attention to that. Alright. Now watch as we go through these clouds. This to me is a far different experience. Now one of you was saying that even with the wrecked soft clouds you get this look, but you see how it looks like you're actually approaching the clouds? See that? You see them moving past? I've never seen that until I got Active Sky 2016 with ASCA, so absolutely love that. I'm a big fan of clouds. My wife laughs at me because the more realistic the clouds look, the happier I am. Oh, okay, we can take out that first setting of flaps now. We're getting ready to cross 10,000 feet, so we'll go ahead and turn landing lights off. Taxi lights could have come off right after takeoff, but that's alright. And let that speed increase just a little bit more, and then we'll take out another setting of flaps here. And then once we get the flaps all the way up, then we'll take a look at that after takeoff checklist and the climb checklist.
Portable electronic devices.
That's good there. Go up one more. Look at this thing climbing 4,000 feet per minute. I'm telling you, when this thing isn't weighed down, it's got unbelievable power. Already above 12,000 feet. We'll let the speed get a little bit higher here before we take out that last setting of flaps. Go ahead and take advantage of it. Yeah, there we go. Now we're looking pretty good. Let's get past 230 and then we'll take out that last flap setting. There we go. Flaps coming all the way up. Alright, let's make sure she's following course like she's supposed to. It is indeed. We've already completed that turn and we're headed towards Amtix now, which is where we want to be going. So let's take a look at this after takeoff slash climb checklist here. LNAV, VNAV's already on. Flaps, we've raised them on schedule. We're good on those. Landing gear lever is in the off position, which it is. Does that automatically. And that's pretty much it for the after takeoff, actually. So that takes us right into the climb checklist. Landing and taxi lights off. We did those already. And once you cross 10,000 feet, of course. Autopilot altitude reset as necessary. We're taking it straight up to 350, so we should be good on that. We're not going to be doing any ATC handoffs. Engine wing and anti-ice. It says under 10 degrees, on under 10 degrees Celsius true air temperature. So if you look on here, here's your true air temperature. We're under 10 degrees, so technically we should have the wing and engine anti-ice on at this point. And that's these right here. So we'll put those on. We may or may not need them, but there we go. And then altimeter gets adjusted once you get above 18,000, which we're crossing 18,000 right now. We could scroll it, or we could just hit the Bravo button. And now we're back at standard. And up and away. So, let me see here. Let's zoom this out just a little bit. We got a little ways to go. So, let's take a couple minutes. I'll just chat with you guys. You can ask questions or anything like that. And then once we hit cruise, we'll do a cruise checklist, and we'll start looking at setting up for our arrival and approach. How's that sound? Let's see what I've missed here so far. Hey, JetBlue, you made it. Fantastic. Glad to see you here, buddy. Let's see. Captain Walt says, oh, better be GE engines. Here, I gotta scroll. Man, we got the, okay, here we go. Can we see the outside view? Yeah, sure. It's gonna be loud though, so prepare your ears, guys. This is gonna get loud here. No, that wasn't that loud. That is. There, not so loud now, right? How's that, Smithy? Good outside view there? Oh, you're an engine guy. Mac is the center of gravity calculator in the CDU. Oh, okay. Oh, good to know. Better be GE engines. That is what we use at Nationals. GEs on the 747. I love the GEs over any other one. My second favorite is a Rolls Royce. Got them quotes? I don't know if I have any quotes yet today, JetBlue. I guess you guys will just have to hang on board and see if I come up with anything good. Notice me in Senpai. I don't even know what that is. What is notice me in Senpai? You're gonna have to explain that one, JetBlue. Mutter 9000. This is the best plane out. You know what? I've asked before if anybody wants to guess, and I've had a few guesses. I would have to say, as far as civilian aircraft go, this is my favorite airplane. And you know, Quality Wings did a pretty good job on this, but I really wish somebody would redo it and do a better job on it. Quality Wings did good, but it could have been done a little better, and I would have really, really enjoyed that. So, I love this plane, though. It's beautiful. And I asked Captain Walton already, for anybody who didn't hear, he's the president of National Virtual Cargo, and I asked him if he'd do a national paint scheme on a Quality Wings 757 with winglets, because National does fly some with winglets now. And when you look at this thing, and I think I make note of this in the Life of Virtual Cargo video that I did this morning. Sorry that I'm bouncing around a little here. But if you look at this thing, especially on approach, I mean, it's not quite as much from, you know, from this view, but on approach more than anything. If you look at this thing nose on, especially with the winglets and with the gear down, the main gear down and the nose up a little, it looks like a bird of prey coming in. It looks just awesome. I love it. It's fantastic. Let me hop back on the flight deck here. Let's see what else we got over here. Sending me an email, so when I have a moment, take a look. Yes, I will, Captain Walton. Thank you. I'll keep an eye out for that. Let's see. Notice me, Senpai, please. I want your quotes. I'm still trying to figure out what Senpai is. I'll take a look at it here. I'll probably have to wait till the stream's done, Captain Walt, but I'll definitely take a look first chance I get. would look better if we were flying from KMSN to KLGA in the Embraer 195. Are you trying to get a quote out of me there, JetBlue? Oh, come on now. You know you love this airplane. You know, when you looked at that, JetBlue, I know what happened. You said, oh, I'm torn now because I really want to see this flight in the 757 into Innsbruck, but I'm the one who came up with the other flight, so I have to vote for it. Yes, I am using Orbix Busman. I've got Orbix Global, and then I've got some of their airports. I've got all their freeware airports, at least in the U.S. I don't think I have any here in Europe. And then I've got a few payware airports too, like Sedona, which they did a beautiful job on that, by the way. So, oh yeah, if iFly made a 757, that'd be fantastic. I really would. All right. So, we're coming up on cruise here. So we can either jump right into the cruise checklist, guys, or you guys can ask me some questions. Anybody got any questions? Are you trying to get a quote of me? M8. What do you think? Nah, that's not going to work.
Folks, just
You have to do better than that.
Just leveled off at cruising altitude.
Here's a quote for you. I hope we don't crash when we fly into Innsbruck because the weather's crazy.
Fastened at all times while seated. This is an event we. All
right, no response, so I'm going to go ahead and go right into the cruise checklist here while this guy bumps his gums. Radio and ATC contact, obviously we have to monitor and maintain that. My nose is driving me nuts. These allergies are killing me. Autopilot, FMC, same thing. We want to check those. It says check permanently on here. I think they meant check continually. Let's see, what else? If the center tanks go empty, which ours have no fuel, then you would turn them off. And that's it for the cruise checklist. Pretty straightforward, right, guys? So, this is all going to go down. You can see top of descent's already coming up here. So let's go ahead and let's set up our approach here, or our arrival. Let me pop this up for you. I've already got it over here. I don't even know why I'm doing that. So here's our arrival. We're going to be taking the, it's the only arrival into LOWI. It's the Innsbruck RNAV Stars arrival. And we're coming in from here at Tulsi. So it's Tulsi straight down to the Rattenberg VOR. And then for us, it looks like we're probably going to be going to OEJ here. And then we're on to approach from, we're going to start our actual approach from there. And this approach gets a little weird. Now, remember I showed you the little pop-up, and I'll have this down in the corner over here again as we're doing the approach. But you can see that it comes into the AB, come on, I had a problem with this earlier. I couldn't, NDB, thank you. And then from there, you fly straight on down to 4.2 from OEV VOR. And then you make a left turn. But every time I've seen this flown, I see them fly right along these mountains the whole way down until they make this turn. So I'm going to ask you guys, do you want to fly it based on what we're seeing on the chart, or do you want to follow the mountain line here, the line of the mountains, and continually descend down along here until we reach our turn point? I will wait. Delta Airlines, we may get you there. Well, we were up to 20 viewers, but 7 people disappeared on us. I guess I got boring for them. Okay, well, I don't want to leave this up here forever, so if we decide to fly this, you can see what we got going on here. I'll have it on the other screen over here so that I can reference it, but real quick, just taking a look here. This is for both runways, so we've got 1,897 meters of runway, which is plenty. 3.5 degree glide slope, so it's a much steeper approach. Little note down here: having established effective external visual reference, the flight shall be continued with visual reference either straight into runway 26, distance to be flown visually up to 6 miles, or onto a right-hand circuit to runway 8. The prescribed minimum flight visibility shall be observed during the visual part of the procedure. Well, hopefully, here's your prescribed visibility, but you know, we're going to land it no matter what, or crash it, one or the other. There's a quote for you. We're going to land it or we're going to crash it. But I think I'm going to just follow the line of the mountains here. Nobody's really said anything, so can't go wrong with the checklist. No, you can't go wrong with the checklist. That's true. But I don't know if that's in reference to my question about the route we take in or not. Wonder why I haven't heard of National. Oh, right. Captain Mac flies for them. Seems legit. Oh, my goodness. JetBlue, my friend, you are going to cause trouble. There's no doubt about that. Okay. So, there we go. Let's go ahead and set up the arrival then. And we click on departure arrival here. Obviously, arrivals for LOWI. Now, it's got a bunch of them on here, interestingly enough. But none of those show up in Navigraph charts, which is interesting. But let's do Tulsa 3A because we're going to be flying down to Tulsa anyway. Or Tulsi. Tulsi? Is that what it's called? Tulsi? Let's look again. Go back here. Tulsi. Okay. Yep. Tulsi 3A. Oh, okay. You know what? I should have paid attention. They're all written on these little things, these little arrows right here. That's why. Hold on. There you go. You get a sneeze per live stream now. So the Tulsi 3A, and we are flying the, what is this? It's just the visual. Let's see if we can find the visual on here. It just gives you runways. Okay, so let's just pick runway 8 and execute, and then let's look at our legs here and make sure. So Mantle and then Tulsi. Let's see what that does down here. Let's switch to plan mode. Step our way through it. Where are we at here? There's Mantle, Tulsi, RTT, which is good. And then from RTT, we should be able to skirt along the hills over here, and around we go, since nobody decided to roger up what they wanted to do. Take that off the plan mode, back onto map mode there. And that goes right back to the beginning. Alright, so RTT is our last waypoint on there. Good to go on that. Any questions? Let's see here. That's why you came. Captain Mac flies for us, and I own National. You're welcome to join. He was actually, I think he was messing around, Captain Walt. JetBlue's mad at me because I put a flight on here that overshadowed his choice for this live stream. Virtual Blue and SNA already. You can fly for as many as you want. Yeah, you can. Yeah, I fly for a few of them as well. It's actually pretty good setup, JetBlue. You'll enjoy it. Take a look at my Life of Virtual Cargo Pilot videos if you haven't, and we'll have plenty more information on them. Let me zoom this out here a little bit. Where's our top of descent now? Have we passed it already?
It will be necessary to collect all service items, as well as any other items you wish to discard.
Well, I guess we're already past top of descent, so down we go. Oh, you know what we didn't look at on our charts here? Let's take a look real quick. We're going to look at our altitudes, right? So we need to be at or above 9,500 at Tulsi. And then for Tulsi 3A, same thing when we get to RTT, at or above 9,500. And then we're headed this way. So the Innsbruck 14,000 at or above isn't going to apply to us, because we're actually, once we get to RTT, it's going to be all visual, and we're literally going to skirt over the top of these mountains, and then we're going to nosedive down here, follow this around, and then circle back and land. So 9,500 is what we're looking for right now. So let me put that in here. There we go, 9,500, and it looks like we're probably good to go as far as our rated descent, so we should be good on that. Yeah. PVA Thompson EasyJet, one more won't hurt. Yeah, no kidding, right? American Airlines. I refuse to fly for American Airlines. Oh, here we go. Quick trivia. Who knows the name of the original airline that is now American Airlines? Without looking online. You get 30 seconds to figure it out. Don't look it up online. That's cheating. JetBlue, you don't have a 747? Nobody's got the answer to my question? The original airline that is now American Airlines? No, it wasn't Eastern. Good guess, though. Anybody else? Any other takers? Nobody? Nothing? Crickets? Look at that. Captain Walton's on my channel recruiting. No, it wasn't Pan Am either. It wasn't TWA. It was not a major airline actually. Nope, wasn't Universal Aviation. Although I think they were a parent company. It was Allegheny Airlines. Allegheny Airlines is the original airline that is now American. Too late, JetBlue. What was the question he says? Drag required. Okay, drag. Let's put some drag in there. We're on VNAV pass, so that's good. We're only a little above it. So I looked at some add-on scenery for this. Aerosoft makes an add-on scenery approaching Innsbruck, which is supposed to be pretty good. It looks pretty good, but I hear it's pretty hard on the frame rates, to be honest with you. That being said, I just couldn't see spending the money on it, since I don't really have any money, and I don't fly here that often. The only pay-where airports that I have right now are ones that I fly to relatively regularly, or airports that are just airports that I really, really like. So, turn that off. You make me laugh, JetBlue, you really do. Good to have you here. Boy, we're losing viewers at the rapid rate, aren't we? I guess we must have people popping in who don't understand what flight sim really is and they're getting bored. What do you think? Probably. Okay. So since nobody ever rogered up, as you know, we're going to be flying along the mountains here. Let me pop up. I got to actually look over the top of my other computer here. There we go. There's our little pop-up there. And let me get a decent looking view here of this chart. There we go. That way I can glance over at that if I need to. Alright. So we're going to hit RTT, and then that'll pretty much start pointing us right at the runway. So at that point, we're going to have to take matters into our own hands, so to speak. Still got a little ways to go, and if you look, there's actually been some lightning off in the distance. Let's listen to the ATIS again. What did he say it was for? I got to scroll back up here. What did he say the ATIS was for the arrival airport? I'm going to listen to it, and then we'll just look on Active Sky just to be sure of it. Let me find it on here. Maybe. It's up here a ways, isn't it? A lot of comments on here. That's good. 122.020 is the ATIS for the arrival airport. So let's take a look real quick. 122.020. Let's listen.
Lima, Oscar, Whiskey, India, airport information. Mike, 1850, Zulu, weather, wind, 245 at 18, caution, wind shear alert, 2 miles southeast of Lima, Oscar, Whiskey, India, visibility, 10, sky condition, 5000, scattered, moderate rain, thunderstorms in the vicinity, temperature, 20, 2.15, QNH, 1019, advise on initial contact, you have information. Mike, Lima, Oscar, Whiskey, India,
so
airport
there's
information.
A problem
Mike,
here, guys.
1850.
We cannot land on runway 8 with that much wind at our backs. So, real quick question, do we want to see if we can alter, I haven't messed with Active Sky that much, do we want to change the weather so that it's favoring the runway that we plan on flying? Which would be, coming, let me try and find trying to find my mouse here. Oh, it's hiding behind that. Which would be flying the approach we're talking about along the mountain, circling around for runway 8, or do we want to go with the weather that's there and land on runway 26? And you're going to have to answer quick. Can't cheat. Can't cheat like that. Alright, well then I guess Captain Walton says we can't cheat, so I guess we're going to be landing on runway 26. So let's make a change here. Departure, arrival. It's the same arrival, but it's we're going to just fly the localizer 26 now. And let's make sure that didn't cause any issues. So RTT and then straight to FF26. And there we go. So you know what? I had hoped, I'm surprised that JetBlue's not laughing his head off here because the idea was to fly that really difficult circle approach, but I guess we'll have to plan that for another flight, huh? So it's going to be runway 26 today. JetBlue wanted you to do the mountain line. Going to be like flying into Kai Tech. I'm not sure if that's how you spell it or not. Sergeant Cruel, but either way, you know, there's an add-on scenery for Kitech that's free. It used to be payware, so I'm gonna have to do a flight into there one day as well. This can't happen now. Well, I guess on the upside, we shouldn't have as much trouble landing. The flight that I did this morning was actually that I recorded for Life of Virtual Cargo Pilot. Was down to the Bahamas, and the landing ended up being pretty smooth, but the route in was ridiculous. And you'll hear a little sort of preview of that right at the start of the video. It was something else, but I did manage to land it pretty well, so I'm proud of myself on that. And a little pat on the back there. All right. Let's see. Oh, there you go. Kitech. K-A-I-T-E-K. By Fly Tampa. I own it, and it's so great. It's free now, though, right, Captain Walton? Do you want to do a group flight somewhere, maybe on VATSIM? You know what? Normally I'd say yes, JetBlue, but unfortunately my wife has made plans for me for the rest of the day. I'm hoping to get back on here, but between getting everything wrapped up after the live stream and then whatever else my wife's got planned, I don't think I'm going to have time today. Now, later this evening, I'm going to be, I was planning on hopping on DCS World and doing some traps on there. That being said, nobody's rogered up anything about DCS World yet, so I'm assuming nobody wants to join me. But we will need to put together a group flight. In fact, I know Captain Walton there and I were trying to do a memorial flight that we still need to get in, so JetBlue, if you join up with National, you may get an opportunity to do that flight with us. It would be fantastic as well. But I would like to do some group flights with you guys. Let me hit the throttle button here just to set the altimeter. I would like to get a couple group flights in. A couple of guys have rogered up some space on their TeamSpeak servers, and I imagine Captain Walton might even be willing to let us use some space there as well. But the issue comes up with the whatever the online hosting deal is. You know, you got FS Host and FS what's this other one over here? Hold on, let me get it. FS Cloud. We tried FS Cloud last time, and like we could see Captain Walton's plane in there, but it wouldn't move. And then when you pass it, it would like transport to being in front of you again somewhere. So, you know, weird things like that are kind of a pain in the butt. You know, it's interesting going back to DCS World. Now again, you guys are going to start seeing some videos on that eventually because I really like DCS World. It's a lot of fun, and I did an online thing last night, and it's absolutely seamless. You go in there, you know, they create a server, you hop in there to do a mission or whatever. There's no choppiness, there's no problem seeing the other players' aircraft in there or anything. It's absolutely fantastic, and it just blows my mind that nobody's come up with something as simple as that for FSX or P3D or anything like that, which is crazy because, you know, DCS is free. You know, you pay for the additional aircraft and stuff, but the whole thing is free. The servers are free, everything's free. So I don't know. You'll apply then for the memorial, just so you can do the memorial flight with us, huh? Oh, you'll join me on DCS, Captain Walton? Fantastic, that'd be great. It'd be nice to have somebody on there. I gotta respond to your email anyway, so once I know which time, what time I'm gonna be on there, I'll shoot you a response to that email that'll include that time. I'm gonna go ahead and we're on VNAV speed right now, so now what this thing does, see how the throttles are coming up. Instead of, even though it's on VNAV speed, it's not actually using the speed to adjust the altitude, which is kind of weird to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change to vertical speed mode here, and then I'm going to roll the speed back to 240 knots. 240, there we go. And then let's go ahead and increase our rate of descent here. Because as you can see here, we're a little high now because we changed runways. We're a little high by 1,800 feet. So we're going to get down there a little bit quicker, and then we'll put it back on VNAV so that it can take care of business for us. Yeah, it'd be great to have you there at the Memorial, JetBlue. We've tried a few times to get that flight in. We haven't been able to do it yet. We got one leg in, and we still need to do the other leg, and that's an important flight we want to do anyway. So we'd definitely like to have you join us there. And anybody else who wants to join up with the National, I'll tell you what, it's a good time. So I suppose I can go ahead and turn this thing off. I think it's that one. Yep. Turn that off because we're not going to be flying that approach anyway. So now we're down to only 10 viewers. I guess I just scared everybody off. It's my shockingly good looks, isn't it? Scared everybody off. Yeah, right. 9,500 at or above is where we need to be. And we can take that off now, and let's go back to VNAV, and it should go to VNAV path right away. It did. Fantastic. That's what we want. And you can see as we're coming into these clouds, it's going to be stormy and bumpy. So, and if you want, we'll even take a look here. We've got a little bit of time. Let's just double click down here at LOWI. And so there we go. The wind is 270 at 15 knots. It says the visibility is unlimited, but there's thunderstorms with broken clouds at 4,500, scattered at 5,000, broken at 10,000. Temperature's 19, dew point 16, 1020 on the barometer. Yep, temporary thunderstorms in the area. That's what tempo TSRA is, temporary thunderstorms. Good times. So let's see. Let's lock onto aircraft here. That's us. Track up. It's much easier to see, so you can see where we're at. That's kind of cool too. I'm thinking about getting this X gauge. I think I mentioned last time why I haven't done that yet, but there you go. Obviously, we want to keep an eye on the mountains here as well because it's going to be hard to see them as we get down here. Now it says 9,500 at or above. We're coming up on 9,500 right now, so we shouldn't have to worry about the mountains. We should be good to go on all of that. So. FMC drag required. No, it's not. We already took care of that. Off you go. Bye-bye. Alright, there's 9,500. So this is where we have to remain until we get past RTT. And then let me pull this back over here. So 9,500, and then it doesn't actually give us anything here. So I think what we're going to have to do is just kind of do it visual. Hopefully there's not too much in the way of clouds. But let's take a look here. Maybe our FMC's got it all plotted out for us. Yeah, there we go. 95, 87, 75, and so on. It is a localizer approach, so I guess we could put that in if we wanted, but I'd have to pull up the localizer frequency, which I haven't done. Let me do it over here. I've got to do it on this computer here. LOWI. And what are we doing? We're doing the... get rid of that. So we're doing the localizer 2.6 now. Which is 109.7. So let's tune this to 109.7. Easy enough. Just scroll it down. That's where you tune the nav radio, by the way. Starting to get kicked around a bit here. I suppose I should turn those landing lights on, huh? Kind of forgot about that. Starting to get bouncy, isn't it? Alright, good times. Alright. I'm not going to load the new approach in and do a brief on it because we don't have time mostly. But it also requires me firing up the internet and all that stuff. It's just a pain in the bootski. So I'm not really going to mess with that right now. But basically we're flying the localizer approach. You can look that up easy enough. So we'll see you here in a minute, JetBlue, but you might want to hurry back or you're going to miss out on something. It's going to be a cool landing. Thought my phone was blinking at me over there. Alright. Looking good. Look at all them mountains. Woo! And there's no terrain function on here to show you the terrain around you, so... yeah, good times. So we can turn the anti-ice off. Temperature's high enough now, so off those go. Temperature's 21 degrees Celsius. Even though there's rain, it's not cool enough for that rain to create ice on the wings or on the engines. So this is the valley here that that Innsbruck is in. And so basically what we're going to be doing here is we're going to turn at RTT. We're going to scoot along the mountains here a little bit. And then we're going to be following that valley down. And the crazy thing is RTT is like right over the top of these hills here. So yeah, good times. Remember, the boss is watching, so don't damage our aircraft. I'll keep that in mind. This is going to be a tough landing, too. Haven't seen the... Have you seen the YT of the jet doing the crosswind? Oh, the YouTube video of the jet doing the crosswind landing in Germany when they touched the wingtip. I have. And that was crazy. I'll tell you what. Didn't they do a go-around on that, too? I think they did a go-around on that. Boy, somebody could have gotten killed easy in that one, huh? Talk about overcorrecting a little bit. Alright, as we're starting to swing around here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit the localizer button. And I'm going to let it track up in here to the localizer and intercept it so that it'll help give us our lateral navigation. Okay, we're low enough for the first flap setting, so let's go ahead and bring that in. You can see we popped out of the clouds there for just a second. And we got ourselves a nice view of the mountains. And just so you guys know, I am recording this on FS Recorder, so as long as I don't have any issues, I'll be able to, maybe I'll create a little cinematic playback or something. Where are you going? Ouch, turn the localizer off. Yowza. Look at that, he's turning right towards the mountain there. Freaking me out, man. It's on LNAV. What is this thing doing? No, sir. Nope, this thing just went on its own program here, guys. Let me bring in another setting of flaps here. I don't know what this airplane's doing all of a
Ladies and
sudden.
gentlemen, in preparation for landing, please return all seat backs and tray tables to their upright and
I turned it
civilian
back
position.
in case you're
Ensure
wondering.
all portable
It lets me
electronic
do that while the
devices are turned
autopilot's
off,
armed,
and stow
but
all
I have no
carry-on
idea why it
items.
was turning left towards the mountains there.
Footrests and video monitors must be returned to their original position. Thank you.
Let's check our landing speed. 128 knots is not going to happen. I'm going to tell you that right now. We're going to do flaps 30 at 135 knots. And when you see me upload when you see the upload for the next Life of Virtual Airline or Virtual Cargo Pilot video, you'll know why. Okay, it is not flying this properly. It's really not. I'm worried we're going to hit a mountain here. We're still at 9,400. We should be descending, I think. Shouldn't we? No, we're good on the altitude. But it's not, it doesn't seem to want to intercept that localizer. Let's try LNAV on and off here and see if it does its job. Okay, now it's trying to do it. Why? Look at the speed. Okay, I'm bringing the gear down. The airplane's about to stall. That's what's going to happen here. The airplane's about to stall. You better bring in those throttles quicker. Auto throttle's coming off.
Flight attendants, please be seated for arrival.
It's almost at stall speed. See that? What on earth? Bring the rest of those flaps in. Oh. It's not flying the LNAV. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it's trying to grab the localizer now. Let's let it go for just a second. I've got the speed control manually right now. Jeez Louise, that's ridiculous. We're way up. Okay. Oh, come on. And I can't see anything either. Okay, vertical speed. It won't let me do the... Okay, vertical speed. It won't let me do vertical speed now. Oh, man. You're killing me here. LNAV, VNAV. Yeah, we're in trouble, boys. We're in trouble. Okay, time to get crazy. Hopefully we don't break the airplane because the boss is watching and he'll be upset. Okay. Turn those off. Turn that off. I said off. There we go. Okay. Down we go. We're still a little right of course here. Time to descend. We're way too high, by the way. Like 1,000 feet too high. Alright, so it's become a completely manual approach at this point. Luckily, it looks like we've got an opening in the clouds there. So we should be able to see at least. So that's good. I don't know what the caution is for. Low fuel. Yowza, that's not good. How low? Doesn't show our fuel on here, does it? No, it does not. Rut-roar-orge. Okay. Let's hope for the best, guys. We no longer have the localizer signal. We cannot see the airport. I do know we're a little over 10 nautical miles out, but until we get underneath these clouds, we can't really tell where we're at. Goodness. Oh, itchy nose. Oh. Goodness gracious, these allergies, I'll tell you what, the allergies here are just ridiculous. I think we're in trouble here, to be honest with you. We need to get we have to get under these clouds for this approach. There's no two ways about it. Because right now we can't see far enough ahead. Actually, yeah, I can. It's right there. What am I talking about? There's the runway right there. Okay. Boy, it just looks really small right now, doesn't it? That target looks awfully small. Whoa! What was that? Oh, goodness. It just got all crazy. It was all nice and smooth, and then it said, yeah, your fun is over. And we're low on fuel, so, yeah, good times. It says we're still high. I don't think we're all that high, actually. Oh, well, you guys are getting a show today, huh? This is a tough one here. Flaps are set to full. Let's go ahead and arm the spoilers. I guess there's not going to be an approach checklist since I don't have a co-pilot. We are too high. Big shocker. I'm always high on approach, aren't I? Let me see if I can do a checklist here without crashing. Okay, spoilers need to be armed. They are. So you'll see me keep glancing over here. Flaps are down. Gear is set. There is no ILS. We can't capture the localizer for whatever reason. Let's see what else here. No handoff. We're not doing ATC. Throttles are good, and everything else is for the actual landing. So there's your approach checklist. And yeah, good times. So there's Innsbruck, and obviously the other approach would have been up along here, and you follow the mountains and circle back right there. We're still too high. Bring those throttles back a little more. I'm going to have to fight this thing all the way to the ground, aren't I? You cannot possibly be getting ready to stall. You hear that little tss? That was the stick shaker. That's what that little sound is. So the airplane's clearly not liking the weather here, and we're still too high. We need to get down a little more. That's what I'm trying to do right now, is get it down a little more. What's our rate of descent? I mean, we're descending at 1,500 feet per minute, for goodness sakes. Even while descending, it wants to stall. I'm actually fighting with it here. It doesn't want to stay down.
2,500.
Oh, now it wants to go down. Goodness gracious. It's not stalling at 150 knots. Oh. Come on. Oh, the auto flaps are going out now. Oh man, this is a fight, guys. This is a fight. Woo! We got her lined up for the most part, but we just can't get her to come down. See, the flaps keep coming in and out because we're going too fast. Because I'm practically pointed the nose straight at the ground and it's just not descending. Look at that. That's crazy. Come on, get down. Get down.
Sink rate.
Am I going to have to side slip? What do you mean sink rate? It's not getting down fast enough.
Sink rate.
Sink rate. Look how fast we're going. Oh, we're in trouble.
Sink rate.
Okay. Okay. Coming up on glide slope now. Nope. Look at it. It's just floating. It's floating. Unbelievable. Wow. Look at that. I got the throttle all the way back. I got it pointed at the ground.
400.
Don't sink.
We don't have any fuel.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
300.
Gears coming up. Okay. And there is no go-around procedure listed on that approach chart. So way to go for us. Come on. Flash the rest of the way up here. I have a feeling we're going to run out of fuel now. Goodness gracious. You guys laughing at me yet? No, there's no ice buildup. We can turn the anti-ice back on, but that's not gonna make it float more. That's gonna make it more likely to drop. On, I said. Ugh. Now it doesn't want to climb. Didn't want to go down. Now it's at 307 knots. Doesn't want to climb. And I need it to climb to get over these stinking mountains here because there's no go-around procedure. I could have followed the valley, but I need to go back this way because I don't have any fuel. Well, these passengers would be having a heart attack right now, wouldn't they? Dear God, we're gonna die. Where are you going? Well, now it wants to climb. Oh, man. We're above 10,000. This landing lights can come back off. I'm just trying to get it to circle around at this point. Climb, you bugger. Over speed. Oh man, this has got to be the worst flight I've ever done. This is terrible. This is terrible. It's not even hardly turning. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. All right. Man. Ooh. Where's the direct to function on here? I don't even think it exists. Let's go departure arrival. Let's see if we can set it up again. Localizer 26. Execute. That should put it back in there for us. Execute. Legs. Tulsi. We don't want to go back out to Tulsi. We'll just go to RTT. We don't have enough fuel. Alright. Let's see if we can get the LNAV working here. Come on. Speed is just... Oh, I'm just struggling here, guys. Stop laughing at me. What have you missed? Boy, you missed a complete, absolute disaster. That's what you missed. Alright. So, altitude hold, command on, altitude hold. Take it to 220. I don't even know if we're going to have enough fuel. So we've got to go back out to RTT and then come back and try it again. Why is there no go-around procedure on this approach chart? Oh, goodness gracious, fellas. Okay. Vertical speed. Now it's letting me do vertical speed. Just take it down nice and slow. We're way above the mountains right now, so we're good on all that. But we do need to get down to 9,500. Wow, that's got to like make one of the live stream fails of the week things, doesn't it? Oh my God, I'm gonna crash! Slip the aircraft with 50% speed brake. Yeah, I thought about doing that, but it was bouncing around so much I was worried a side slip would just stall it. That's the only reason I didn't side slip it. I don't think it was ice buildup though, Captain Walton. The temperature was too high for ice. I mean, it's low now, but ice buildup shouldn't have made it float so much. Should have done the opposite. Okay, let's get in a couple settings of flaps there. Let's see where we're at here. Okay. We have cruddy visibility. I think we have the wrong frequency in for the localizer DME. Let's try this other frequency. It's 111.1. That's for OEV. See if that one... Yeah, that's the one we needed, I'll bet you. See, it's trying to stall again. At 190 knots, it's threatening to stall. Now, it is possible to stall at any speed. Okay, but we're not heavy. We're not heavy at all. So there's no reason for that. Let's go ahead and descend a little quicker here. That'll help just a little. As soon as we get past here a little bit, I'm going to give it probably direct to FF26 and try this again. Let's hope we don't run out of fuel. You hear that? Keeps trying to stall. Auto throttle's on, but the throttles are still all the way back. Why? Guess there's not going to be any auto throttle. Boy, this thing's just acting up, huh? Yeah, I know I turned it off. Wasn't doing any good. Alright. You need to descend, airplane. Boy, those updrafts are just crazy on this flight, huh? That is crazy. I mean, I've dealt with that in like a Cessna, but I've never seen updrafts strong enough to push a 757 like that. Oh, it smoothed out now. You watch though, we turn and start back down that valley, it's gonna get all crazy again. Whew. Okay. Well, I think what's gonna have to happen here, in fact I know what's gonna have to happen, is we can't fly all the way out there. I'm gonna have to skirt these mountains myself and manually fly this as best I can along that route. So what we're going to do is we're going to scoot on this side of this mountain since we're descending, and we're going to swing it around and try and intercept FF26 and see if the localizer will pick up and try and fly this thing again. I'll steepen that turn a little bit. Not an easy thing to do, obviously. Oh my goodness. But for whatever reason, we're low on fuel. And since it won't tell me how much fuel is in there, there's got to be a fuel gauge somewhere in this thing, right? I probably just never bothered to look because I didn't need to. Here's the fuel quantity right here. Center is 0, 0.9, and 0.8. Oof, we are practically on fumes, guys. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swing around this mountain here and come back up the valley, because that's where we're going to need to be, and we're going to hope that we have enough fuel to get there. I'm going to work on controlling the descent, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to come in a little high on purpose. There's a quote for you, JetBlue. Thanks, oh, my eyes are blurry. Pedro? We'll go with Pedro. Thanks, Pedro, I appreciate it. Yep, I found it up there. Alright, so we got to swing around this mountain and our visibility sucks. We are just not in a good way here, guys. Actually, I don't think we need to swing around it. I think we need to swing even tighter. So let's decrease the rate of descent here, since it wants to overspeed on the flaps anyway. No, not in. No. Be good. Let's turn the landing lights on so I don't have to mess with it in a few minutes. My goodness, this thing is just, come on, stop messing around.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Yeah, bank angle, the whole shebang. I'm just doing everything wrong here, literally. If I could do it wrong, I'm doing it wrong. It's made even harder because there's no feel for one. I have no feel for the aircraft, and the visibility sucks. Bring in another setting of flaps here. Did you get your quote, JetBlue? I'm going to come in a little high on approach. Alright. So I'm going to try and keep my speed up just a little bit. I don't know why it's climbing right now. And I want to be above the glide slope here. Because I just have this crazy feeling we're going to run out of fuel. Let's see what we're at. Let's turn the localizer on just so it can tell us. 0.8, 0.7. I think we're going to just barely have enough to get there. But we'll see. Okay. See if we can intercept this thing. Should be right on it here. Why is it thing to... We're not past it. I don't think we are. Yeah, I guess we are. There's the airport. You can just make it out back there. So, what do you guys think of my near disaster there? Yeah, I know. Altitude and low fuel. Noted. Okay. Keeping it a little above glide slope on purpose. I'm trying not to give JetBlue another quote here. Keeping it high. There you go. There's another quote. Okay, so I'm trying to stay high. So that I can glide it in. Getting ready to bring the landing gear down here shortly. I'm gonna wait just a little bit longer. I have a feeling we're gonna hit that turbulence again. Let's just go ahead and bring the landing gear down. Flaps to 20. Let's let that increase our rate of descent. Not too much. I just have a, here shortly I think we're going to start getting rocked again. Because that's what happened last time. So let's just be prepared for that. Next setting of flaps. A little bit of trim. Not a lot. Okay, go ahead and bring in just a little throttle here. Because this thing is going to start getting crazy. Here it comes. Told ya. That's nothing so far. That last time around was crazy, wasn't it? Okay, we should be pointed right down the runway here, but can't tell yet, so... But we should be able to tell here shortly. And then we'll make corrections as necessary. But we're definitely going to need to get lower here. I wanted to try and glide it in, but last time, you know, remember, we ended up being ridiculously high. We're a little left of center here, it looks like. You just sort of make it out there. Alright. How's that fuel looking? 0.7 and 0.5. Oh man, we're going to be down to the wire, aren't we? Spoilers are armed? They are. Okay. Alright, it's not as bad as it was last time, at least not yet. And we're already, you know, flying so slow. Rate of descent's alright. Need to get down a little more is what we need to do. You can sort of make out the runway. We're off to the right a little now. Clearly the localizer is not working properly, or I have the wrong frequency still. Alright, we got to stick it this time. We don't have the fuel for another go around, guys. So one way or another this thing's getting on the ground. No, I'm not done yet. I would have been, but we had to go around. Is that what... Did you miss it? No, you saw it. Okay. We We can make out the runway now. At least we got some visibility between us and the runway. There's no obstructions. That's good.
2,500.
Ugh. Here it comes. We got anti-ice on, so we know it's not ice. Whew. Oh, we're getting pushed up again. See that? Now it's dropping out. Oh man. What do you think, guys? You think we're gonna make it? Boy, I'll tell you what, this has got to be something to do with Active Sky 2016. I have never had these kinds of updrafts. And I'm not saying they aren't realistic, because in the real world I've fought updrafts. Okay, there's an updraft, big one. Throttle's all the way back, trying to get the nose down. Bring the throttles back in. Okay, I got the throttle all the way back right now. Come on, baby.
1,000.
Sink rate. Pull up.
I know the sink rate's high. I need it to be.
Rate.
I'm getting forced up right now.
Up.
Come on, get down there. There we go.
Up. Sink rate.
500.
Come on, baby. Come on. Look at that. Oh, right there. There's a huge updraft.
Pull up. Sink rate.
400.
Pull,
300.
pull,
Approaching minimums.
Sink
Ooh.
rate.
Come on.
Sink
Settle
rate.
down.
Pull up. Sink rate.
100.
Come on.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Look at that. Woo! My goodness.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be taxiing
Wow.
for the next few minutes, so please remain seated
Wow.
with your seatbelt
We are
fastened
gonna have
until
to-
the captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign.
You guys want
At
to see a
that time,
replay of
please
that?
remember to check around your seating
Probably
area,
do,
in the
huh?
seat pockets, and
Take a
overhead
couple minutes
bins
to
for
set it
all
up, but
personal belongings
if I get a
brought on
replay.
board.
Holy guacamole, folks. That was crazy. Let's taxi this thing in. Let's get those taxi lights on. Landing lights off. Flaps are already up. Spoilers are up. Whew. We'll do the rest of the after landing checklist when we get in here. Oh man, that was intense. I think I broke out in a sweat here. That's something else, huh? Hey, Captain Walton, I took good care of your airplane there. I didn't crash it. Almost, but not quite. That was absolutely nuts. Round of applause. Thank you. Thank you very much. Whew. Thanks, Captain Walton. Please replay when parked. Yeah, I think I can do a replay. Let's get the shutdown done, and then I'll save the flight, the FS recorder flight, and then we'll have to zip it way ahead, and we'll see if we can get a good view of it. Get a tower view. How's that sound? Actually, we might be able to just do a replay. Can't you? Doesn't FSX have a replay thing? I think it does. We'll see if we can just do that. Let me get up here and get parked first. That was an intense landing right there. That was seriously intense. You know, I wanted to do the landing on runway 8 because it's such a difficult approach, but I got to tell you, that worked out. That ended up being a really, really tough landing, despite it being what would be considered the easier approach into Innsbruck. That was crazy. We're going to park over here on the end. Slow down, slow down. There we go. Let's get her in there. My goodness. I don't think I've had a landing that intense. You know, I did, for those of you guys who have subscribed to my YouTube channel, you've seen my unusual, difficult, and dangerous approaches, I'm sure. And I did the approach into St. Bart's, which took me a few practice runs to get good at. But, you know, I got to tell you, that approach was nowhere near as intense as the one we just flew right now. I mean, that was absolutely crazy. Okay, the wheel's like 15 feet behind us or something, so it should be like right about there. I'm just guessing, but we turn track IR off here. Control period to set the parking brake, and let's take care of the shutdown checklist, and then we'll do a replay, huh? How's that sound? Does that sound good, guys? Okay, it's taxi checklist. Parking position. Parking brake is set. ATC contact doesn't matter. Engine anti-ice and wing anti-ice can come off at this point. There we go. Isolation switch goes on. I don't know why we're not actually going to turn. It says turn the APU on. We're not going to turn the APU on. So fuel control switches can go off. 1 and 2. Red anti-collision lights can go off, as well as these guys here. Logo can come off. Position lights can come off. I'm actually just doing a really quick shutdown here. Doors would be opened if we needed to. We're not going to do that. So actually, literally, we just turn the battery off at this point, and shutdown is complete. Ah, I like that view of this airplane. Oh, it's paused. There we go. Raining like crazy. Lights are still on for some reason. All right. That was a good flight, though. You know what? That was a lot of fun. I tell you what, it worked out having to do that approach to runway 26, because seriously, I wanted to do the other approach. I thought, let's do the hard one. Well, that one was plenty hard today, wasn't it? That weather was absolutely nuts. That was craziness. So, you need an overlay and sound for following. Try to hit it right when you were landing. Try to hit the following thing. You hit the follow me button right when I was landing. Because I have an overlay for following, and I don't know why it's not working. It should be. Let me click on the thing here. Twitch alerts. Yeah, it should be popping up right in the center there. So I have no idea why it didn't, to be honest with you. But thank you for the follow. I sure do appreciate it. And I appreciate all you coming on here. I had a good time. We've been at it for, what time is it here? It's 1:30, so we've been at it for 2.5 hours. I know a couple of you got some good information on how to do a cold and dark start on this, so that's fantastic. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. You want me to check the email and respond before I leave? Okay, let me check on here right now. This is why I have 2 computers now. While I'm checking this email, guys, again, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't had an opportunity yet, hit the follow button down there. I'm up to, what do we got, 66 followers, I think, which is fantastic, and I really appreciate that. And then head on over to YouTube. There's a link down below the screen there, the video screen. Click on that. It'll take you right to my YouTube channel. If you haven't done so, please click on the subscribe button over there. We're up to over almost 1,700 subscribers, which I'm just humbled by that. I really am, so I appreciate it very much. And check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Every time I do a comment on Twitch, it goes to Twitter automatically, and then every once in a while I put some stuff on Facebook, and as more and more people start following, I'll be making it a point to go on Facebook and post updates and let you guys know when there's going to be live streams and stuff like that. So let's see. Okay, David, yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all, actually. So there you go. And David had a question for me, but he didn't want me to obviously read it over the live stream. Yeah, no problem, David. We'll talk about that a little bit later, okay? Anyway, so I think that's going to wrap it up, guys. I really do appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. I hope you guys learned some stuff from this. And, yeah, I don't know what else to say at this time. This was neat. I enjoyed this one. That was a good, tough landing. And, hey, we managed to do go-around even though we didn't have go-around procedures. So... Good time, guys. As always, I like to close out this way. Keep the blue side up unless otherwise instructed by ATC. You folks, God bless. Have a fantastic day.